All right, guys, welcome to Billionair. New podcast room. Look at this. It's way different than the last couple of episodes. I've spent a lot of time in this room, getting it ready, perfecting it, and doing all that kind of stuff. And it's a bit of a labor of love. Like I want this, you know, like as I've been doing it, I've been growing, and then like I put more time into it, and it's just like it's growing. It's a beautiful thing, and you know, like why let the media have all the power? Like we can have the power now. So you know, sovereign individuals can have these kind of conversations, and you know, not have to get you know, whatever, you know, banned or this and that. But you know, like I don't care about any of that shit. I've got you guys on, and you guys are really cool people. I really like. I've known you for ages, and Fanos, you know, you represented a lot of people that were questioning a narrative, you know, quite a few years ago. Yeah, and you know, fucking, you stood up for a lot of people, and we respect you for that. You know?
Appreciate that, gents.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah,
so,
and congratulations on your setup, mate.
Cheers.
Looks fantastic.
Cheers, guys. Cheers.
Very well done. I was actually quite impressed.
So just put that on auto. So I've got like a lot of I've got this camera thing. I'm just trying to work it out at the moment because we can switch to like the screen if we want. We can switch to like a 4 people mode. The screen. We've got like a lot of different camera angles happening right now.
That's awesome. We'll take it for a test drive.
Yeah. This is the first. Cool. This is the first test drive, guys. So
no worries.
I'll just pretty much put it in auto. It'll switch to you guys when you're talking. It'll switch to me, like us when we're talking, and it'll switch to that camera as well. So I'll just put that into auto. And what I would like today, guys, is for you to like, because I'm on the fence with flat Earth, right? I'm on the fence. Like, I've got a lot of friends that are 100% adamant the Earth's flat. Like, I got to say, it's pretty even these days. It's pretty fucking even.
It is, yeah. When you look at some of the polls they do, a lot of these you know, bigger channels, even on X or Twitter, they will do it to mock flat earthers, and I'll go, oh, you know, who's a flat earther here, you know, and they'll throw the question out there, and they're very surprised when they see that 70% of their followers who they were hanging shit on, right, that are actually flat earthers. So they've got to be very cautious how you walk these days, if you like, you know, especially amongst your followers, because if you go and did you see in the recent days where now Joe Biden called all Trump supporters garbage, right? Did you see that thing that occurred?
I heard about that.
And, you know, that's working right against them. So you can't do that. You can't just go and blanket, you know, make a blanket statement like that.
You can't.
But you're right, huge amount of flat earthers now, and you're sitting on the fence, you said.
I'm sitting on the fence. I'd like you guys to convince me, you know, present good arguments for me to...
Awesome. That's what, you know, what is it that keeps you on the fence?
For me personally, I went to South America, right? It was a one-way flight just from Melbourne to Santiago in Chile.
Yep.
It's like a 16-hour flight. And normally you think the way that you'd go is through the straight line through the Pacific or something like that, right? But what the airline did, supposedly, because it had it on the map at the back of the headrest. So it went, instead of going straight from Melbourne to, you know, across the Pacific, it went down through Antarctica. And then I saw Antarctica with my own eyes, right? Which was pretty cool, right? It was all white. Like, I always wanted to go to Antarctica. I wanted to see what's going on there, why they've done the treaty, if they've got direct energy weapons there, like what's going on with Antarctica. It's always been under wraps. You can't go there. I got to see all this white, infinite whiteness. I was just like, doesn't look like it ends. It's crazy. It's all white. Anyway, so they said they went down like that, and then they went back up. And by doing that, because the world's a globe, it's quicker. It actually, because it's a sphere.
I don't know if they do go directly under like that. And if you look at a flat Earth map, let's say if we could probably bring it up here, but if you look at
by all means, you've got is the keyboard working?
Is my mouse?
Is the mouse?
Working? Yeah, that's working.
Before we even go into that part of the argument, right? All you need to do is you need to keep it simple. The first thing you need to do is search on YouTube and look for flat Earth videos. The first thing that comes up, if you understand the algorithms that have kept us... Now, go back to COVID. Anything that was against the narrative was hidden. Yes? If flat Earth was actually just ridiculous and it was just an absolute like hogwash and had no like credible evidence whatsoever,
Yep.
YouTube would have no problem of allowing these flat Earth videos to come up. The fact that the first videos that come up are debunking videos by the thousands is your first indication.
Oh yeah, try and find a flat Earth
That they're
video.
fighting it?
Right? Yeah.
Just give me a
Like
sec.
that they're fighting.
Of something's being hidden.
Okay.
The second thing you need to look at in plain sight is who uses what map and why. Before you go into anything, these are the first things you ask yourself. World Health Organization.
Yeah.
They use that Gleeson's map, that flat Earth map.
In the logo.
The what was the other one?
United.
The United Nations.
United
They
Nations.
use that map and they have it segmented into 33 sections
For the
under
Masons.
something that looks like what?
Dome.
What
A dome.
what shape looks like it's segmented into 33 parts?
Pull it up.
Look at bring up the United
So we
Nations.
switch to that now. Now we're on the computer.
Sorry, I'm going to let you
That's
really
okay.
go into that.
That's okay because I think you're right because the maps are very important and the fact that isn't it funny that we were never shown these maps at school?
No.
Were you? I
No.
was never shown this map at school. Were you ever shown the Gleeson map at school?
So
The Gleeson map.
These maps,
Never.
different map of the world. No, it was always a ball, and that's an assumption. And when you go on, and you said you're on a flight, right?
Yeah.
So you could quite easily, if you were going around from, you're going from the bottom of Australia, basically, you're going from Australia to, where did you go? South Africa or South America?
South America. I went to Argentina.
To South America, yeah. Well, you're
Or Chile,
trimming.
Chile.
You're basically going around. You could have done that circuit, which then the
That was
ice
the
wall would
yeah.
have been around there. You could quite
So
easily
you would
do
have
that.
been you would have been flying along the ice wall the whole time.
Yeah, but they would have most likely gone like that because if you look at the flight maps, there's actually a
So
guy.
what's that? Europe? No, that's America.
This is Australia. This is
That's America in the way of South America.
over here.
Yeah. Okay.
Puerto Rico and all that through here.
Yep.
Europe, Africa, Australia. So, and you were flying. So, were you really upside down on a ball? Ask yourself that on a plane. Was the plane upside down? Like, really? Was it upside down? You were going upside down around the ball like that and it went like that.
Who knows, man? It was
What did your natural senses suggest? So that's what.
All I knew was they were giving me heaps of wine, right? And I ended up drinking like nearly 2 bottles of wine on this
Is
trip.
that why they get everyone
Free
drunk on those
alcohol.
flights? Yeah.
I was pissed, and I was like looking at Antarctica, and I was like, "Fuck it."
And
what's
the
going on
interesting
here?
thing is, because I hear this argument a lot about what you said, people fly around and they, why did it go that way? And how come it took so long? And it should have taken longer if it was a flat. But, when you're on the plane, you don't even know how fast the plane is traveling. They could tell you it's doing 800 kilometers an hour, but it's actually doing 1,100 kilometers an hour. And some of those planes are built to do that.
Oh, wow.
So when they paint them, they put like this, what's it called, high friction paint on it so it doesn't heat up and burn up. And only certain planes that go on those routes, for some reason, they're the special planes that are the ones that are, fortified, if you like, to make it across the, the colder journeys. But no flight ever has gone, if that's the ball, has ever gone like that, north and south. Not once in history has anyone ever done that. Isn't that interesting?
Or with sailing, or on a boat.
Yeah, or on a boat. No one's ever done that. No one's ever done that. And when in circumnavigation, because I saw someone debating that on Facebook or Twitter, and one of the responses from someone was, circumnavigation can never work on a flat surface. What are you talking about? What, we can't circumnavigate this area?
It's actually the other way around.
Isn't it?
Circumnavigation could never work on a spinning ball.
That's
and
exactly.
I'm going to explain to you why.
That's exactly right.
Okay, so the way circumnavigation works is with something that is a key point that is the most important part of navigating with the stars.
Yep.
And it's triangulation. Now, if you were to change one of those stars by half a degree over 60,000 kilometers, you would not be able to navigate from that star anymore. So the premise that we are spinning,
Yep.
everything around us is spinning, and not one of those stars ever wobbles, changes its
Declination or its
by
position.
even half a degree,
Yeah.
that it's ever been a problem,
Yeah.
is what was one of the 10 points that really made me think, hang on a second, how could you really, if we're spinning
Yep.
and those things are spinning as well, there'd have to be some type of variation. And according to Neil deGrasse Tyson, we don't only spin, we wobble. So if we're wobbling, but the Milky Way is not wobbling,
Yeah.
wouldn't that be throwing all the stars out in terms of being able to navigate from any of these stars?
Absolutely, because they kept it really simple when we were at school. They only told us that we were spinning and we were going around the sun. But in essence, it's actually, we're spinning at 1,000 miles an hour, going around the sun at 66,000 miles an hour, while the sun flies sideways at 500,000 miles an hour as the universe expands at, I think it's 1.2 million miles an hour. And when you have all of that, like you said, the stars could never marry up, and you'd have parallax. You'd have distance parallax. You know, when you're driving in a car, you see things in the distance, and everything be up from you to that point is all going at different speeds. If you looked at the road, that's going really fast. Out in the distance, the mountains, that's just cruising along.
Yep.
If there's a cow in between that, that's going at in between the,
Yep.
So you never see that with stars, do you?
Parallax.
Stars are just doing this, aren't they? That's all they do.
So, I think that when you asked, what you said, convince me.
Yeah.
Instead of convincing you, I should just tell you a story of what were the things that actually started having me really start to question things. And I'll tell you the absolute first thing that made me question everything. I was at Christmas and I was sitting next to my brother. And my brother goes, you know the earth is flat. Do you know that? And
brother.
Your brother told you.
and
Younger brother, older?
Older brother.
Yeah, cool.
Understand one thing, right? Every single one of us have been brought up within the system. And each and every single one of us who now have the understanding of the truth were exactly like every other single individual out there who thinks what we're thinking is absolutely ridiculous in the beginning. I thought what he's saying is ridiculous.
Yeah.
But at the time, I was reading the Bible. And I was reading Genesis. And, mate, the hairs are standing up on my hand right now because I remember reading the first 4 pages of Genesis, and I remember reading, and God created the heavens, and God created the water, and separated the waters from the waters with the firmament.
The firmament.
Now, the interesting thing about the word firmament, here is another point. Remember how I said to you, don't look at the things that are like science and everything else. Look at what they hide from you. They went into the Bible and changed the word firmament to expanse.
They have, haven't they?
Expanse means space. Firmament is a solid, immovable object.
Yeah.
Why would you go into the Bible?
That's the opposite.
Holy Scripture, which has nothing to do with science, and change the word in order to follow? Because in the New International Version of the Bible, which a friend of mine had, it said, and God created and separated and said, created an expanse between the waters.
Yep.
Created an expanse, right? Why would you go change that word?
Yeah, the KJV still has
it. If
it,
you go to an old version, that was the first thing that set me off. It's like, hang on a second.
Why are they doing this?
Why does it say waters? That just blew me away. It's like, okay.
So slowly, they're kind of like changing this to create their own narrative.
And I said, okay, I'm gonna look at this further. And I said, why have they got a treaty where countries that don't even like each other have bombed each other with atomic bombs, have agreed that no one should go to Antarctica unless they're specifically military or government controlled, that you cannot go down it? Makes no sense whatsoever.
What did they find there, bro? What did they find there?
But the thing is,
Probably more land, I reckon. It goes beyond Antarctica.
An
you
ice
know?
wall kind of situation?
No. Ice wall refers to the big, the ice expanse out there, right? And they climbed that with Operation High Jump. They went above there, and Admiral Richard Byrd went out there, right?
That's right.
With all his, 13.
He said there was
ships and
civilization.
1,300 soldiers. So you got to take that all with a grain of salt as well, right? Because
It did work for the US.
look at the numbers they use when they start going. There was 13 military ships, 1,300 soldiers, 33. I can't
But
remember.
for him to come on the
Right.
33, that's all
But
the
he said there
Masonic
was
numbers.
he said there was more land that would fuel America for the next 200 years. Now, if you look at that, because they sold us at school that Antarctica was just ice. You didn't tell us there was land under that ice, right?
Yeah.
Now we're starting to realise Antarctica is actually far more valuable than what they were trying to pitch to
of course,
us.
imagine how many minerals there
And
have
you
been
can't go to
untapped.
the centre of it as well.
it's not about minerals or reserves or mining or none of that shit, right? So when I looked at the timeline afterwards, I looked at NASA was created in 1958.
Yep.
Within 6 months later, they did the Antarctic Treaty.
Within 6 months.
6 months.
Yeah, that's when
they
they started
created
doing
the Antarctic
yeah.
Treaty. I said, man, the timeline is just ridiculous. And then I saw Operation High Jump was in 1945. And I'm like, that's not even 10 years before. And they had Operation High Jump. And then I saw Werner von Braun's Tombstone.
Werner von Braun. Yeah. Did you see?
Werner von Braun's Tombstone.
Just that I cut you in, if you don't mind, I'll cut you in. And right then, because you're right, they did all these operations, and they did Operation Dominic. Did you see that one when they were blowing, shooting nuclear up to the dome?
Yeah.
So the Dominic,
So Operation Fishbowl was when they were doing high altitude nuclear testing.
To blow the firmament.
But here's the thing, right? Werner von Braun, during the Second World War, what was he working on? He was working on the V2 rocket. Now, he was shooting V2 rockets up into the sky.
Was he the guy that was working for Hitler and then the US took him?
Yeah, so go Werner von Braun's Tombstone. Bring it up on
Braun.
Because what I'm doing now is taking you through my chain of thought, what started to turn me.
1901.
So the creator of the V2 rocket,
We got Jamie in the house today. Kamal, what a dawn.
Fuck Jamie.
the creator of the V2 rocket, right? Go to the King James version, because in the new one they take the word firmament out again and they put something else in there.
The heavens declare the glory of God.
And the firmament showeth his handiwork. Now go back to the other version. This is what I'm saying to you. Why would you change things that have no relevance? Why would you say the heavens declare the glory of God and the skies proclaim the work of the hands?
they had
Why
to
would
do.
you take
So
out
they
the word
substitute
firmament?
skies instead of firmament.
Well, sometimes they have to do this because you can create your own Bible, you can copyright your own Bible, but you have to change the words in it. You can't just leave.
Yeah, but they're not just changing
But I know
the
what
words.
you mean,
They're
yeah.
changing the meaning behind the words.
In Greek, it's stedioma. That's what the firmament is. So read it in Greek. And I've even had chats about this with Greek priests, right? And I ask them this, Fanos, and do the same if you can go to your local priest and ask him, look, what's the firmament? What's the stedioma? And they'll go, what? Dear Les, what are you talking about? And you go, hang on, it's in the first page of the Bible. And they'll argue with you, no, it's not. And then they go, look and go, oh.
Fuck,
and
it
they
is.
start making up their own bullshit about stedioma. Like, hang on, you didn't even know what it was 4 seconds ago.
Do you know what the
And now
stedioma means?
It's stediom, hard.
It means something that's solid.
Solid,
A stereo,
isn't it?
like this
Yeah,
table
yeah.
in a stereo. It's solid.
Did you get a chance to read my book? I'm not sure if did I send you a copy a
Oh,
while ago? The Elusive Curve.
Maybe,
I might have
This is the
sent you a
book.
copy. Yeah.
So, so this is what started to turn me. I read stuff like this, I saw. So the guy who created the V2 rocket was shooting things at the sky. Realized something's up there. So his dying message he leaves to the world was a verse out of the Bible which talks about nothing but the fact that there's a firmament. These are things like
Crazy.
Yeah.
if there is no truth behind it, why would someone leave that as a message to the world? These are the things that got me. It wasn't, all the science and all the other shit. That's not what I looked at. It was all of these things that can't be explained. And why would you lie about these things? Do you know what I mean? Like, why would you take these words out of the Bible when they mean firmament? Why would you take those words out? Why would the guy who created the V2 rocket, who was shooting things at the sky, leave that as his dying message to the world? Like, he can't tell anyone what he discovered.
Yeah.
But you know what? He can leave a dying message because they can't kill him if he's already dead. Why would he leave that on his tombstone?
It's very interesting.
And he actually did. He actually brought up in an interview. I've got it on my YouTube channel, where it was a conversation he was having with an interviewer about the world. And when you hear him describing, he didn't believe in the globe Earth. He wasn't a globe Earth, believer. Like, he was questioning things, and that's why evident by what he left on, as he said, on his tombstone here, because he wasn't,
So this guy was making rockets back then, right? And then they did the whole moon landing, which in our last podcast we talked about, and that was a major turning stone for your generation, just like 9/11 was a major turning stone for my generation, right? And we just hadn't been back for like 50 years, and then now they're going back. Like, what I've heard from a lot of flat earthers is
China
it
and
looks all
India-
CGI.
China and India have
Elon
gone back,
Musk.
but we haven't gone back.
But like, are they? Like, that's what I'm trying to figure out, because a lot of people are saying, we're breaking we're breaking through. This is the latest thing. It's the biggest thing in the world. We're making progress and whatever. And then other people are like, it's CGI, bro. It's fake. It's like, look at it closely. It looks like it was made in a Disney studio.
And you're on the fence. So what do you think about all this stuff that you see?
I don't know, man.
What do you
It's
think?
just at the
What's
moment,
going to keep you sitting on the fence? Man that sit on fence too long is going to end up getting
Humpty
broken
Dumpty
balls,
there.
right?
Humpty Dumpty's
Joe
going to...
Rogan.
What are you gonna do? How long are you gonna sit there for? What do you want? What do you need to convince you? Is it natural science, or is it the conspiracy stuff? Is it the... Do you know what I mean?
So that's not even conspiracy, though.
Well, it's not conspiracy, but
is just
it
like
is.
something, a message that someone who was shooting rockets up at the sky has left as his dying message to the world. Why that verse? Why would you leave that specific verse on your tombstone? Forget all the other stuff. How would, like, someone's dying message to leave that to the world? There has to be some relevance.
It's like they knew something that others didn't know. And they're trying to kind of like...
He was part of, they were shooting rocket, as you said, Operation Fishbowl, Operation Dominic. I think they did 4 different operations.
He was a
wrote
high-level
about him in
Nazi
here.
as well. That's where he started.
Sorry?
He was a high-level Nazi.
Absolutely, yeah. Absolutely. Freemason. And so were all of them connected to Walt Disney and Jack Parsons, who started Jack Parsons Laboratories, which is now JPL Labs. And they're all occultists, and they're all in this, And why did they bring the Nazis from Germany to America after World War II under Operation Paperclip? Isn't that a bit odd? Just all of this stuff.
All the best rocket scientists went to America to help build the Saturn V rockets, and
But
all
those
that kind of
supposedly committed crimes in
Or they took them
Germany,
there to
didn't
shut
they?
them up.
Right? Yeah. Who knows the official story of that as
stuff.
well?
A lot of them went to Argentina.
Better not go
apparently.
there.
Like they
Exactly.
They escaped. So
And Australia too. Yeah, through Operation Paperclip, they came here as well, and they all got high positions wherever they got to.
Man, that's
like
so interesting.
in charge of NASA, or in charge of energy, in charge of minerals, in charge of military.
Yeah.
So if you look at them all, they're all anyway. So what is it? Like, what do you need to get you over the line? Because this might help people listening.
I don't know.
So that's why I want to try and drill down to this bit. Because we spoke about how water works and water's level over vast distances. Do you still agree on that, or?
I haven't I'd love to get a P900 out and go and do some more tests. I haven't had the chance to do the tests. I would like to. Okay, so we got Elon Musk over there, right? This guy. I'd like to go to one of his rocket things. I'd like to go to where he's launching his rockets and see if it's actually, if he's actually launching rockets. See what's going on there.
Rockets, but they're not going anywhere.
Very interesting.
I'd like to see. I think the only way that I'd feel 100% is if I get to go in one of these rockets and see if it's possible to go up there.
Is that how you do it?
I don't know. I always wanted to go up in a
just-
rocket. I don't know. That's just me from since when I was a little kid. I don't know. I always wanted to kind of go into space. that kind of like it was an alluring kind of
Of
thing
course,
growing
all
up
of
as a
us.
kid, right?
Yeah, of course. I watched.
Keep your head in the clouds.
yeah,
distracted about
exactly.
what's happening around you.
That's right. And that's what they want you to do, Billy, as well. They want you to look up here while you're not looking down here on Earth and measuring this level, stationary, not spinning, not moving. This is where you got to get, your natural senses, which are your God-given natural senses, right?
What I'm thinking is, right, because this is kind of what I've gathered from both sides, right? From the flat Earth side, it's like we're living in a simulation, right? But then it's like God's simulation or something like that. It's like we're in an enclosed, space, right? It's kind of like a finite space, whereas like the globalists, I was gonna say globetards, but the people who believe in the heliocentric model, they think it's infinite, right? And then that we're nothing. But thinking that way, you end up becoming an atheist, which I don't like, right?
You know what?
But they are agreeing that it's a simulation.
I'm going to chime in for a moment when you're done.
Yeah, no worries. It's almost like both parties are saying it's a simulation. They're just trying to figure out how big this simulation is.
I don't agree with the simulation thing, but anyway, you go. Yeah.
So look at basic things, right? Yeah. And this is something that really started to convince me. So most things, when you look at in terms of flat Earth, everything is you can simulate it with basic things in your home. It's like, can you simulate the flat ocean? No problem. Give me a dish, give me a pot. I'll put some rocks in it. I'll fill it with water. Bang. There's your sea. There's your land. Can you simulate a curved ocean? It's like, well, no, I can't. And then it's like, okay, can you simulate 4 pounds per square inch of atmospheric pressure, which is what we have for our air?
Yep.
Okay. No solid object in between, because rockets fly through it, don't forget. Okay. And then an intense vacuum, which is beyond the realms of your imagination in terms of how strong a vacuum would be. And they both coexist. Can you maintain a vacuum without a sealed container? Yes or no?
No way, yeah.
Okay. Can you maintain 4 pounds per square inch of atmospheric of any gas pressure without a container? No. But somehow, and this is the whole thing about, when people say, oh, you're uneducated, you don't understand science. Like, hang on a second, you say I'm uneducated, I don't understand science.
You're bringing
but
science.
Within the same respect, you say that 4 pounds per square inch can exist next to an eternal vacuum with no container in between, and both of those coexist simultaneously without either of them being separated.
It's something like 10 to the 17 negative Tor or something. Like, it'd rip everything apart.
How is that possible? That you say that these things coexist with something called gravity. You have no explanation for gravity. And people go, okay, you're a flat earther, explain gravity. No problem, it's density. If you put oil and water and like 3 or 4 different liquids, they all stay on top of each other. The reason we go down to the bottom, but when we hit the ground, we don't go any deeper because we're not denser than the ground. But we're denser than the air. When we get in the water, we're denser than the water. It's got to do with density. Can I replicate a flat Earth environment of 4 pounds per square inch? Yes, no problem. Give me a table. Let me put something flat, like land underneath it. I'll put a dome on top. I'll seal the dome, and then I'll pump in 4 pounds per square inch. Can I do that? Every single thing from a flat Earth perspective is all you can simulate it.
Yeah,
it can all be simulated.
Yeah.
Everything about the heliocentric model, none of it can be simulated with our science in terms of and what is the elephant in the room apparently that makes it all happen is gravity. Everything. All of their theories are held together by gravity. But they can't explain gravity. There is no proof of gravity. Right? They say, oh, well, look at these 2 balls. They're 2 different sizes, but if you drop them, they fall at the same time. Yeah, it's because they've got the exact same density.
It's just an agreement.
And would you type this in for me, Kamal? Could you type in specific gravity?
Did that help you?
Specific
Yeah.
gravity.
help you a
4
little bit?
psi. Yeah.
Just specific gravity in itself. Look at it and go to all instead of images. And look what it is. It's relative density. Specific gravity. So you want gravity? You really want gravity, my friend? You can keep it. It's
Wow.
called relative density. Yeah, and that mixed in an electromagnetic universe that we live in, right? Because it's more than just it's more than that. We're electric creatures, aren't we? We get affected by the sun and the radiance of that, and you know the moon and everything. There's a lot going on.
Yeah.
Right?
It's all
And
vibrations.
their science is very basic. Like their science is like 1666 from Isaac Newton. Our science is modern science. You know,
1666.
Maxwell's laws and all these. Yeah, isn't it interesting? All their
It's like
numbers
the
all
artwork I got at the
equate.
front.
Yeah. But all their numbers equate to the 666 as well. You know, the gravitational constant 666. Planck's constant has got 666 in it. All of these formulas they do have 666 in them. They just love it.
And it's not just space. If you look up the Washington Monument and say, what is the Washington Monuments? How
Dimensions.
wide is the Washington Monument first? And it'll say it in feet.
Yeah, just to, yeah.
Okay, it's 55 feet. Now divide 55 feet. What is 55 feet in inches?
It's 6,666 or something, isn't it? Or
That's crazy.
Watch this. Now,
660.
that's rounded off. It's actually, if it's not
55.5.
rounded off, it's
I said
666.
Yeah.
Because it's not 55, it's 55 point something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they always round, they have to round
And
that
then
off
if
now.
you go, how tall is the Washington Monument? Do that. How tall is it's 555
554
feet.
feet.
Divide that in inches, please.
Yeah. That's where I said
Divide in inches.
the 666,000.
What is 555 feet in inches? But if you do it on a proper calculator,
No need.
do you think that's by accident?
No way, my friend. No
That's
way.
crazy.
No way.
That's fucking crazy.
And that's why in Revelation it says that let he who has the knowledge calculate, and the knowledge is the number of a man, and it's 666. But it says let he who has the knowledge calculate. That way, because everything's hidden within the calculation, and you'll always find the number 666. That's my belief anyway, because that makes sense with the way.
Is the number 666 inherently evil, or is it just a number?
Well, they say
with power behind
don't they
it.
say an atom is made of 6 neutrons, 6 protons, 6 electrons as well? So I think that, I don't even know. No one's really proven that. That's just their theories because no one's ever seen an atom anyway. But is it bad? You know, it's questionable. Like, yeah.
I'm trying to think.
Funny because all these numbers, what does he say?
He says 3, 6, and 9.
Yeah.
If you understand the numbers 3, 6,
I was
and
about
9.
to sort of try and explain it. I've been trying to get around that for years. And I
Yeah.
think what fascinates me that everything does add up to 9. So if you go 666 adds up to 9. So you go 6 plus 6 plus 6, it adds up to 9.
Yeah.
Because you go 18, right? You get 18 out of it. 1 plus 8 is 9. In a circle is 360 degrees. So if you go 3 plus 6, that equals 9. If you half a circle, it's 180 degrees. 180, 1 plus the 8 is a 9. If you do a quarter, which is 45 degrees, the 4 and the 5 is a 9. And if you double a circle to 7, 360, now it's 720, the 7 and 2 is a 9, and do your head in. Any listener, just you do the rest of it. It just goes infinitely.
Mathematics doesn't lie.
It's just crazy.
Maths doesn't
and I
lie.
don't know what he meant, but
Physics doesn't lie either.
Yeah,
So
nature.
That's the whole thing about like the whole argument in terms of, well, what are we on? It's like you say it's all about science and whatever else, but then when you bring in the stuff of like physics in Greek means physical, which means the understanding of its natural nature.
Yeah.
You can't talk about physics and then tell me that water is sticking to something that's spinning, right? And sitting perfectly smooth and flat.
So
right?
when we look at
and there's no like you can't use that argument with me in terms of our oceans, and then you can't use the argument in terms of, mate, I'll give someone $1,000 right now if you can go on an elevation which is quite high,
I'll give you 10.
Zoom in 10 kilometers and show me a building which is apparently on a circle, right? Every building from a distance, if you're standing, like I live in Thomastown, right? I can see the city. I can see the city, which is 35 kilometers away, coming down the freeway. I can see the city. But the funny thing is the city is perfectly straight up. The
buildings are all perfectly
if you're
plumb,
on a circle,
aren't they, everywhere?
they should start tipping.
Yeah.
From a distance of 35 kilometers, if I zoom in,
The curvature, I've never seen the curvature.
you should see the buildings tipping.
On ranges that you're supposed to see curvature, I've never seen curvature.
And in fact,
that I can agree on. Yeah,
what Fanos is saying is spot on, because what they actually did, they've done an experiment on this, and they took one building and they measured the perpendicular nature of it to another building, like I think it was 1,000 kilometers away, like one city to the other.
Yep.
And when they measured it on a geodesic, the sphere, no, it didn't. It would have been tilted, like you're saying, because it's like 1 degree every 69 miles, or about 100 k's, right?
When
it's got to be doing
every
this.
Every time I'm on a plane, I've never seen anything like no curvature.
Yeah.
I've never seen.
And I've
never seen curvature, bro.
The tipping point for
Never
me,
seen it.
because I was a huge glober. When I heard about flat Earth, man, I was ripping them down, and because I thought I knew the science, and I was pretty intelligent with I knew the heliocentric model pretty well, but it was long distance photography. And one day I just had to go, I'm just going to listen to the flat earthers. I want to listen to what they say, and then I started listening. These guys are quite switched on. They know what they're talking about as well, right? And I was learning new things, and I'm learning, and then one day I had the guts to go, world record long distance photo, and I think that was in 2017, and I was one of the first. I think I was the first person to start promoting that world record, 443 kilometer photo by
That's a lot of Ks.
on Beyond Horizon website, right?
Yep.
And this blew me away, the world record. This one here. And he peaked from this distance right across mountain to mountain. And if you put that into the Earth curvature calculator, you shouldn't see this. You should not see what he's seeing there. And
if you did, you'd only see you wouldn't be seeing a straight. You wouldn't be seeing the mountains straight. You'd see them. Literally, you'd see the mountains, but you'd see it would just be one straight color. You wouldn't even see the bumps, which is over the top of the mountain. You wouldn't see it because it's on an angle
on the YouTube.
It's going circular for every kilometer you move further forward, you're going to start traveling down a circle.
That's right.
So, show me a photo anywhere on the internet of buildings that are tipping from a distance.
What do they say?
Show me one photo.
What do they say when you can see it?
It doesn't exist.
And then
refraction. They say it's refraction because the light is refracting based on Snell's law. Because when you get a fish tank,
swamp gas or something, some gases or something that causes that.
Not really. No, refraction is when you get a fish tank and that's filled with water, and then they put a laser through it, and you'll see the light bends. So they're trying to say under the right conditions, the light bends upwards, not. Because light refracts downwards if you do it in the tank. It doesn't bend upward. But that depends, because if you've got salt water in the fish tank, it's different to if you've got sugar water, if you've got plain water, you're right.
Yep.
So the factors are the conditions would change in that fish tank. And there was a guy called Snell, and Snell's law meant that certain light will refract under, at this particular angle.
Yep.
So what the globe earthers did is they took that Snell's law and they put it into the Earth curvature map to basically debunk any claim. Whenever you say, I could see too far, they go, that's because of refraction. That's a mirage. It's actually behind the curve, but what you're seeing is bent up over. It's just fucking ridiculous.
It sounds like a malakia.
It is bullshit. It's that they're trying to say, don't trust your eyes.
And it wouldn't be clear like that. It would be like a mirage. It would be like upside down, and it wouldn't be clear
upside
like that,
down,
like you're looking at it. It would look like when you're walking down the street, and in the distance you see
Kamal, you can have this one.
You see when the road's hot, and you can see something coming up, and it looks
like that stuff.
Like you're seeing things from a distance.
On the
It doesn't look
tarmac.
clear. But it's something that's from further down. and you're seeing that thing. Does that make sense?
Like
That's
this.
like a mirage, right?
Yeah, like this basically is what you're saying. It's called Fata Morgana.
Yeah,
And you'll see
you
that
how
occurring.
it's
And it looks like
Yeah,
it's
but there's
floating.
actually water there. You can see the band of water, right? If you know, you can see that different shade, right?
Yeah,
there.
that's crazy.
It's not as if that the water's not there or the ship's just floating in the ocean. It's just that our eyes can't see. There's a band of water at a certain
Exactly.
spot, right?
Flying cargo ships.
You see that with a car as well, don't you? You see it when a car's on it's a really hot day and you see that refraction occurring or this effect, like the car's actually floating. But there's a lot to learn and you can't just trust, like your anecdotal evidence was that you went on a flight from Australia to there and that's what convinced you. Like, what else is there? I want to hear it.
Other than that, like with this refraction stuff, like I think that's a bit shifty. I think also the fact that they went to the moon, which is I reckon is bullshit. I don't reckon they went to the moon. I reckon
cool.
they
We're
just,
getting there. Yeah, go.
But then they didn't do anything for so long, right? And then they pushed science a lot, right? I reckon they maybe reverse engineered some technology in Antarctica. That's what I kind of reckon. Because how the hell did we go from a vacuum transistor, right, where a computer was the size of a house, right, and then now everybody in the world's got mobile phones, right, that are 100,000 times more powerful than that transistor that was like in a house, a computer that was the size of a building, right, from IBM within 50 years. Like, how do you progress that much as a civilization that quickly? Like how?
That's very interesting. And
like how do you do that? But then at the same time, it's like,
But did we progress?
we've progressed here,
We've
right?
regressed.
Maybe
Or did
we've
we
regressed.
and
Yeah.
then progress.
yeah, it's a good, it's a question that is as well,
Talk about
isn't it?
this is the whole argument in terms of we're more advanced now. It's like, okay, we're more advanced now. No.
Technologically, yes, but
All right, let's go
maybe-
and have a look at the pyramids of Giza. Can you guys build them?
No.
Oh, but hang on. I thought we're at the height of human intelligence.
They
and
can't even
we're-
work
we're
out when they
smarter
were
than we
built.
ever
No,
were,
no, no, yeah,
and we have
yeah.
the ultimate technology now.
No.
But not one of your fucking machines right now could lift even one of those blocks
Yeah.
that high.
They
Have you
can't.
seen,
Not one of them.
Have you guys
Malbec-
looked into Tartaria
So
yet?
how the
the
fuck do they
Tartarian
build-
Let's talk
buildings?
about Tartaria, man.
Tartaria, the
and-
buildings, how
yeah,
they build them.
Let's talk about that too.
How
I was
advanced were
gonna
those guys, And I don't know, man. I'm believing the Bible.
All their
more and
buildings
more.
had these energy things on the top. What was with those? They're like cathodes
Yeah.
or something. Like they
Have
were
you guys read-
getting energy,
Have you read the
different
book of
form
Enoch?
of energy.
The Book of Enoch?
I've heard of the Book of Enoch.
Man, go listen to it even on YouTube. Listen to the book of there's some really good channels that now have done great presentations, and I reckon those guys, that's the technology
Well,
was.
they
from
took
them.
the Book of Enoch out of the Bible.
Yeah. Fascinating
And
story.
it speaks of apparently it speaks of the Nephilim, the fallen angels.
They're the giants, the Nephilim.
They
And-
came
and
here.
If you go a bit further, like there's evidence of the flood,
Yep.
the Great Flood, because look at like Easter Island, those heads.
Have
the
you seen
bodies
Graham
underneath.
Hancock's thing?
Bodies under them.
Number 2, he full talks about Easter Island, Polynesia. I've been doing research into
there's-
that. Like the Pacific Ocean,
Yeah.
approximately about 200 meters
Absolutely,
lower.
yeah.
There was 2 melts. North America was all ice, yeah? And then somehow that melted. The sea levels rose about maybe 300 meters over the span of like, I think 500 years
Absolutely
or something.
fascinating, isn't it?
Imagine how many, imagine, because everyone's always coastal, right? Everyone's always living on the coast, right? They're catching psadia, fish and stuff, they're just living off the land and all that kind of stuff. Imagine how many people got annihilated, bro.
Have you seen, when they talk about ice melting and the sea levels rising? You know how I talk about, can you replicate it, right? Someone did an experiment, and it's so fucking, it's genius, but it's so simple at the same time. They had a tub with water in it.
Yeah.
They put an ice block in it.
Mm.
They allowed the big ice block to melt. The water didn't change height
Same volume.
because it's got the ice was displaced in the water first.
And the volume
But
was holding
then
it
when
down.
the ice melted, there was less ice displaced in the water, but more water around it. It was exactly the same height.
Yeah,
It
you're right,
didn't-
and they
it did
can't
not
replicate. It's all bullshit. Their
Didn't
science,
change.
isn't it? Even their climate change, you can't replicate it.
But what
'Cause
about,
you could replicate it on a flat Earth more because it's an enclosed greenhouse environment, right? This perfect system that we live in. And when you get that, you'll have to agree, Fanos, and even come because you're a flat earther. Are you there?
All you three,
Yeah.
100%.
Yep,
Yeah.
cool.
You're gonna
It
say
changes-
something, man?
it
Or
changes-
you just the
He's
fucking
Jamie, he's
guy?
It
Jamie.
changes your life. Yeah, no, he just
I
sits
thought
back
we were
and
being dogs.
Nah.
The poor blokes.
No,
never
he
got
just
words
sits
in.
back
He's
and
been
watch-
getting on the computer,
Yeah.
and then all the stuff he's bringing up, it's going on this. Like
Fantastic.
while
Yeah, good
while
on you,
this is
man.
up, and he's typing it in and pulling up pictures. It's on the screen, and we're like in a small
Wow.
little
Is
square.
this-
just
is this the
realised
So
first-
it's yeah,
Fanos
he's
is as crazy as me.
Yeah.
So it's
yeah,
good. It's
I'm-
good.
Or just just a free thinker.
100%.
Define
bro.
crazy. Is crazy
free
the way we
thinker.
think, or hey, we're up to our 6th jab,
I know.
and you know what? Fuck these people who didn't have it. I'm gonna get sick because they didn't have it, but I'm up to my 6th jab. Who's crazy?
I
Me
saw
or
someone at the supermarket
or the-
today
or the
wearing a
fucking
mask.
idiot.
I
He's gone
still
that
see
6
him
jab.
wearing mask and even in the
We're
car.
not crazy, bro.
We're not
In this
crazy.
reality,
We're aware.
Yeah.
And,
We're aware.
and a lot of people that thought we were crazy, they flipped. They've come on our side, haven't they? You know, it took them a while, but you saw even a lot of
Yeah.
The
media.
people that only got 2, they're on our side already.
Yeah.
And then the
Yeah.
boosted, you know, they're probably running 20 psi now, so God knows what's going to happen to them.
Not right,
You were
man.
gonna say something.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say, okay, yeah. Going back to the ice and the water, right?
yeah.
So just say like, if the ice is on a land, yeah, then it's not technically on the water. So then when it melts, it is gonna raise the sea level. Because if it's in the water, if the ice is in the water and it's floating, it's like sitting in the water already. It's pushing the water up, and then as it melts, it stays
But
the same level,
water
right?
expands when it freezes.
It expands.
Yeah.
But just say if it's
Have you ever put
on,
water in a
glass-
bottle
glass
and
bottle
frozen
in
the
the
bottle?
freezer.
it expands, and then
expands.
the plastic goes bigger.
So it's not going
Yeah.
to be as big, is it?
You break the glass bottle in the. Yeah, that's right. The glass bottle breaks.
And
happened.
talk about rising sea levels. Okay, so Bill Gates. Let's talk about
all those Muppets.
Mark Zuckerberg, all of them, right?
Yeah.
They all believe in rising sea levels, and
they all have
fucking
house
we're all
properties
destroy-
on the
and they've all
coast,
got-
bro.
They've all. See, this is what I'm saying. It's like when you really want to like dissect something, just keep it simple. The people who are talking about we're fucked still have oceanfront property.
That's right.
If they believed all their bullshit,
They would have sold their houses.
not one of those fuckers
Absolutely.
would have oceanfront
Yeah.
property right now.
Well,
Insurance companies-
Donald Trump was saying, he goes, oh, it's such a big deal. It's going to rise like 0.5 centimeters in the next 650 years. He goes, it's such a big problem, this climate change, you know? He's making a joke about it, obviously. And like, I don't know.
Flat
It's
Earth
like
has
this.
is a massive argument against climate change because climate change has to do with CO2 levels, greenhouse effect, where we've got sun rays coming in, not
Yeah.
being able to get out, heating up the planet.
There's
Well,
too many contradictory
within
plot
flat Earth,
holes in
it's all
that.
bullshit because you've got a firmament. The sun and the moon are under the firmament, and look up Freemason altar, flat Earth.
And good point, actually, Fanos. And in the flat Earth model, the geocentric model, the sun isn't what they say it is. They
Freemason
say the
altar.
sun is a nuclear, nuclear furnace.
reactor.
Yeah.
Look, go down, and there's an old Freemason altar. Type in old, and then write flat Earth next to that.
I think I know which one.
It's almost
Okay,
like the
so
one.
go down. It's a
It's
black.
an old-
It's
an old,
a black and
picture.
white.
Oh,
There
this
it is.
one,
there.
this one. Yeah.
Okay, so bring this up. This is what I'm saying. It's like
Pull it up, Jamie.
forget all the stuff. Forget all the stuff that in terms of explain this, explain that. It's like my thing was. It's like why would they do this? Like Werner Braun, why did he put that in his tombstone?
Yeah, but do you know why they do this?
The
Because-
Freemasons.
Yeah,
why do they have that? Is because see that in the Bible they talk about the 4 pillars,
Yeah, it's 4 pillars
the
right there.
firmament.
Yep.
And the sun and the moon. In the beginning, God created the sun and the moon. He doesn't say he created anything else. Sun and the moon. And the sun and the moon is under the firmament and the stars. There's the sun, the
And it's
moon,
under the first dome of the firmament.
right? They have the dome and they have the sun and the moon under the dome.
So you're saying they have the knowledge, they put it there, and then they trick everyone to believe that there's space, And they don't even want they
Look
want everyone
up-
to feel like they're nothing.
It
Okay,
goes well
look up the word
beyond
NASA.
even Hebrew.
Hey, do you just want
concept.
another
up-
drink?
look
Do you
up-
want another drink?
I'd
I'm
love
going to
it.
grab one.
Look up the word NASA. Now look up the word NASA and NASA in Jewish, in Hebrew. Okay,
Go
not in
Hebrew.
Jewish, in Hebrew,
Yeah.
Hebrew. Sorry, Hebrew.
This, I
Yes?
think I had a look through
Okay,
this.
now go NASA Hebrew Nashor. Write Nasaw, and write King James. Write Nashor. Hebrew. That's right. Nashor Hebrew. That's it.
Nasha, isn't it? Yeah.
Yep. Now go to Bible Gateway. Not fucking all these like conspiracy theory stuff. Go to Bible Gateway. There. Hebrew lexicon Old Testament. What does the word Nashor mean? Yeah, that's it there. To deceive or beguile. That's
the
not
beguile?
that's not on a
what's beguile?
conspiracy theorist website. That's from a Bible studies website. Click on that. Click on that. Old Testament. Nashor means to deceive or beguile. So the word NASA,
Deceive.
which has a snake's tongue on it,
I
i.e.
know.
the serpent,
Coincidentally, yeah.
also means in Hebrew to deceive or beguile.
There you go. I
See,
didn't even know that, man. That's
See, these are the
yeah.
things
that's
that
a shifter
It's
right
like,
from the
yeah,
beginning.
they've got a lot
cuz.
of that as well. They've got a lot of these little bombs. that-
these are the things I like to bring into the argument and not
Yeah.
talk about curvature
Because they
and all the
love
other
the
bullshit.
symbolism. They
I
love
know, but
to
yeah,
put it
I
in
like
your
to bring
face
this
and then
stuff
mock
into
you.
it
This is
because this
good.
gets you thinking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm not showing you. I didn't show you like a conspiracy theorist website. I showed you a Bible
Their
studies
stuff.
thing,
Their stuff. Yeah.
and it says to deceive or beguile.
Wow.
Yeah, the nasty.
That's crazy.
And especially when you see this serpent associated with it as well. And that's where, I was going to say
saith the
about
serpent.
the serpent, and, you look at biblically as well.
Yep.
The snake deceiving,
And
right?
then, and it
Adam
says
and Eve.
Satan.
But I've been started getting into that as well. And you got to look at Yahshua and
Shaitan.
that was
Satan.
I know, because people are saying now that Yahshua, that guy Yahweh or whatever, is actually Satan in the Bible. Go and look that up. That's a rabbit hole.
Fuck.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, so which God are we worshipping at the end of the day? You got to be friggin' careful, right? Especially when they've controlled the narrative. When I say those guys, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
They like to invert
Yeah.
stuff.
for sure. And they left 66 books in the Bible, but you remove the book of Enoch, you remove Jubilee, you remove Timothy, you removed all Magdalene. She had a book. You got a lot of the book of
They burnt them all.
The
Imagine
Ethiopian.
how many books they burnt in the Library of
the-
Alexandria.
yeah, for sure. That burnt for how many years?
Yeah,
That
like 20, 200 years, some long time that was burning.
How does a
man.
library burn for that friggin' long?
When they're
right?
creating a new world
Yeah,
order.
exactly,
That's how.
man, exactly. And then they left us with their remnants, didn't they?
Correct.
Yeah, and
And now we're just trying to decipher it.
and there was a flood. And I going on what you said, man.
Look up parabolic erosion of the pyramids.
So, Graham Hancock's talking about how the pyramids could be between 16 to 32,000 years old.
Absolutely, yeah.
Parabolic erosion of the pyramid, and it shows how the pyramid it actually has water erosion.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Like
correct.
there was
Yeah.
like there was a
Like the
massive
water.
flood.
Well, you've got to
Up to
remember,
that
it's 16,
level,
between 16,000 years ago, right? It was literally like the Amazon.
For sure.
Where the pyramids were, it was sub-Saharan Africa, like pumping full rainforests, yeah. And I think that went after a while. Everything kind of like disappeared, and the people of those areas kind of like their lives became a lot harder because they became like sand people in a way, yeah.
It's kind of yeah.
And then I think what happened was because South America, if you look at Africa, South America just looks like a mini version of Africa, right? And now the Amazon is there, and they've got pyramids there.
Everywhere.
They've got pyramids everywhere.
There are 6 pyramids, 12 pyramids in Greece.
How are they communicating? How are they communicating with each other?
Here's an interesting
Because all
one.
these pyramids line
Yes.
up with these energy meridians around the world, like the.
Who built them?
I'm gonna
built
give
them, in
you
your
something
opinion?
now. Okay, so are the pyramid structures? Or are they something else? Look
Power
up-
sources.
Yeah, look up.
Yeah.
That's why the capstone got
pyramids
removed
are
and
actually
it's in the-
power plants.
Yeah, for sure. Cadmium pumps. If you look that up,
and
Cadmium pump, and then go pyramid after it.
then
Pump. That's right. And then type pyramid after it.
and then you've got Nikola Tesla, who based the Tesla coil on the function of the pyramids.
So that
Yeah, that's right.
No, keep it simple.
Cadmium?
Look up
Cadmium?
pyramid power plants.
Yeah,
Just look up,
yeah,
keep
it simple. I've been
Pyramid power plants.
I've been on the thing that the pyramid was a power
There you go.
plant source shooting up through the capstone. The internals weren't the king's chamber and this
Nah.
and that. They
Nah.
were meant to hold the elements that would create the power.
Yeah.
That was the purpose of it.
So here's an interesting thing, right? So with the pyramids, apparently when Moses left Egypt,
Yep.
right, he they took the Ark of the Covenant with them.
Mhm.
Now the Ark of the Covenant was actually
It's a big thing.
believed to be a capacitor, and that's what was powering the pyramids.
Oh, that's why.
That's why they lost.
Anyone that opened
that-
it would
all
die
the
instantly. They
power.
couldn't look at it.
See
they
that
lost
sec-
all the power, and
See that second one?
Egypt fell after they left.
Oh wow.
They took the thing that was actually.
Do you reckon
the
that's
pyramids
somewhere here
power.
on this world still?
Probably, actually. And
100% it was.
that's interesting what Fanos is saying, because the word pyramid, bida, is fire, and mid is in the middle. So there was fire in the middle when they even
That
rediscovered
caused it to have an energy.
Yeah, crazy. And it fired through the bottom. See this diagram here? So they reckon what is in the pyramid above is below it, and it connects to the Nile River.
As above,
as
so
the,
below.
Yeah.
Yeah, the river used to flow and then pump into this thing.
Yeah, through ionization
crazy.
of all the materials,
Yeah,
it would
yeah.
convert it into electricity.
It was fully
And
lined
Nikola
up.
Tesla
yeah.
based his designs on the Tesla coil from how the pyramids would create electricity. And all of wherever he would build these giant Tesla coils,
Yeah.
they were built on top of aquifers, exactly like the pyramids.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So needed
That's
the water.
hectic.
It always
That's
needed
right.
the water, is what you're saying. Yeah.
But as the
okay.
Nile dried up,
Yeah.
maybe they couldn't use it anymore because over thousands of years, like
Well, it
the
got
Nile
destroyed by the
moved-
floods.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah,
the floods
exactly.
destroyed a lot of the stuff.
There's evidence
you know?
of a massive flood all around the world.
All around the
these,
world.
The
all
mud
these
floods? Is this the mud flood?
archaeological digs.
Noah's?
Why was everything under mud?
Yeah.
Is that after the deluge?
Feet and feet of mud and like all this stuff about carbon dating or whatever else. There's and I believe it that I don't believe that the Earth's billions of years old.
No.
I believe we're probably 16,000 years
How do you know?
No one knows.
How do you know
yeah.
it's
I don't think we
4.5
know.
billion
Do you know what I
years
mean?
old? How-
Yeah.
You looked at a rock and you did a thing on it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
we-
because there's been evidence. There's evidence of evidence of the flood, and it shows that the sediment isn't even that old. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
But if you controlled every bit of information that's given to the people, and see, this is the thing about when we talk about a fact.
And they found fish
Yeah.
deposits at the top of Mount Everest, right?
Oh, that was like last week. Or
Sorry?
something. I saw that on a meme last week.
Yeah, I
on
posted that
Instagram.
on
Yeah,
Facebook,
I
I
saw it
think,
on
the
your
other day,
channel.
yeah.
Yeah.
Just incredible how they get there, and even in the middle of Australia, outback Australia,
Yeah.
they find fossils that are,
How are they finding it?
you know,
So the interesting thing about the word fact, right? If we say this is a glass bottle, how is that a fact? Because a group of people decided within agreement of their peers in terms of experts in their field that this is a bottle, right? So scurvy was a terminal illness. That was a fact. A fact is a fact until it's disproven.
That's right.
So all of this stuff about physics, all the stuff about the physics of Earth, I mean, as in it's spinning, and you've got multiverse, and you've got the expanding universe, and all this stuff. All they are is theories that have been agreed upon by a group of peers who are within a position to say, well, this is now a fact. But a fact is a fact
Positions of authority.
until it's disproven. So everything we've been told about, how the atmosphere stays in, how gravity works, and you don't understand the science. And it's like, who the fuck created the science that you actually got a doctorate in, mate? The very people who are trying to keep you like in the Matrix. So every single bit of education that you've ever been through in your life has been tainted by the very people that either stand to profit from you or stand to profit from you being deceived. And everything about, when you look at the whole argument with Flat Earth, everything falls apart. Climate change falls apart. The ozone layer and all that bullshit falls
It's
apart.
the biggest conspiracy
evolution
ever.
falls apart.
Evolution falls apart.
Yeah.
And why did they create evolution? Because they wanted to create people to not feel powerful. And if you really embrace what flat Earth is, what you realize is, mate, there's a creator. There is nothing else.
Yeah.
We are the center of the fucking world. There is nothing else. And everything that's been created, every celestial body
It's the
in
complete
sky,
opposite of
all
what they're
it has
trying to
been
tell us.
created for
Yeah.
us to marvel within the center of being in it.
I think that's
There
what
is
they
nothing
try.
else.
I agree.
Can I ask you guys a question?
We're it.
Would most flat earthers believe in God?
Yeah.
Yeah. You,
A creator? Yeah,
you
for
need
sure.
a
Now,
creator.
on the other side, right? Would most people that globe earthers, are they atheists?
Not necessarily, but I see a strong connection.
I'd see a lot of
right?
them are.
Yeah, the real anti-flat earthers, yes.
Definitely.
Those ones,
the
yes.
anti-flat earthers.
But they're just the normal, like my mum and
There's-
dad or
because-
whatever, right?
yeah.
If they believe in the globe, doesn't mean they don't believe in God. They do believe in God, but it doesn't make sense.
True.
Because I say to them, well, if there's God and God's up, well, if you're in, on a ball and you're in Melbourne down here, well, where's up on a ball, right? Where's up?
I've noticed.
Up is that way for flat earthers. Down is that for all. Yeah, that way. It's simple, right? And there's everything around you. Everyone is around you. Point around you.
Can I
And-
type
yeah,
in something?
yeah. Go for it, man.
Just type in.
So
flat-
you know,
flat
I've
Earth.
noticed that there's a lot of
Just type in
atheists in
different
my
flat
generation.
Earth cultures.
there's a lot of atheists. Yeah,
flat Earth
because-
cultures,
Because
and
what
show
they-
up all the pictures of from all different cultures depicting what we live on. Go to images.
Yeah, because
Right,
if
there you
you
go.
if
So-
you look at what they've done, Billy, they've really twisted the narrative over the years with the God thing. A lot of you said a lot of people are atheists in your generation. Yeah. And didn't they sort of convince mankind over the last 30, 40 years, the UFO narrative, there's UFOs and you can go out, there's going to go out to space and on Mars and all that. But that's new.
people believe in
concepts.
aliens more
Okay.
than they believe in God.
That's
these
right.
days.
That's what we were saying last
Yeah,
year.
exactly.
Yeah. They
Made
flipped
that
it,
a real-
man. This
So,
is interesting.
so to me, this is a solidifying argument to me. It's like all of these different ancient civilizations, which had no way of communicating with each other.
They all believe the same thing.
Every single one of them have depicted a very similar
Firmament.
thing
Yeah.
that we live under. Every single one
Yeah.
of them has the land, has a solid dome over it. Egypt, Hebrew,
You can scroll
Navajo,
that, scroll
Norse.
that down.
Scroll down.
Oh.
I think it just repeats.
See, these are the
Oh,
things.
does it? Okay.
These are the things. It's like, okay, explain that to me. How these people did not have any means of communication, yet they've all come to the same consensus with what they believe.
Yeah.
They didn't all get on the internet and get on the chat room.
No, they
and
didn't
they all
have
decided,
Discord.
hey, let's all
I
create
think
our own.
They didn't have mobile phones.
I think they were all connected. Even before the floods, the land was more connected, and they could travel, and they used to get together. And if you look at the Tartarian buildings, it's the same style that they all did. And if you look at those three doors, in the the Jesus 12. The Last Supper,
Oh,
the three doors behind it. They used that in Inca. They had the three doors in Egypt.
It's in
They had
Jordan.
the
There's
Jordan.
doors.
What is this
What's going on with
three
that?
doors thing?
Are they portals?
Maybe, yeah, Who
knows?
knows?
Do you want to talk about Tartaria for a bit?
Yeah, what do you reckon about Tartaria? Have you researched?
I've heard about it, and what I've learned is that nothing surprises me. And if there's one thing that I've really come to the realization is we have no idea where we live, what our true purpose is on this world, what we have been limited by in terms our level of power that we can actually generate within ourselves. All of that stuff. So when it comes to something like Tartaria, in terms of harnessing energy from the ether, it makes perfect sense that there was something that was completely wiped out.
And they were intelligent, like you brought up
Yeah.
before. Like there was
Very
an
intelligent.
So what's the basic story about Tartaria for some? You just say someone's tuning in that haven't heard of it before.
The interesting thing is that I never heard of Tartaria either until about 5 or 6 years ago. And then it was like, hang on a sec, people started showing me maps of the world with Tartaria on it. And actually, I've got a globe at home. It's an older globe. That's why I didn't throw it away. But it's got Tartaria, where Asia used to be, and it covered a whole expansive region. So why did they eliminate that? And if you actually do, there's a CIA document that shows that they took Tartaria out of the education system, and they started just
At approximately what time? You reckon?
1950s and 60s. It was even from then. It was still around.
Okay.
Yeah, because even that globe that I've got was not that old. It's based on, but you look at it and it got the maps depict. You've probably seen the Urbano Monte map of the world, the old one, and it shows kangaroos and animals and all these regions. They were really detailed maps. They weren't just like, just drawn. But Tartaria was in all the maps. And it was an empire that they say kind of, not Tartaria ruled the world, but look, they removed a lot of history, right? You lied to us about something. Why'd you lie? You got to question that.
It seems like history does get rewritten by the victor. And who knows what the English Empire did in the last 200 years, man? Who knows what they got up to? Because
very interesting.
A lot of Commonwealth countries, the ones that got colonized,
Tartary was everywhere, and it was just just amazing. And the land was different. The water level was that. I think Noah's flood happened more recently than I used to believe. I don't think it was thousands of years. I reckon it was pretty recent. Actually, with all the mud floods and there were buildings. I used to think that, when Noah was around, they were all just like, living in caves and, just in a manger, whatever they used to call them, right? But now I think they was really civilized, advanced civilization.
Some massive cataclysm.
But it's scary because when you
Apocalypse
you read the
something.
Book of Enoch and you start connecting it all together, you sort of go, far out, were these people good? Were they benevolent or were they malevolent?
Malevolent, yeah.
Yeah, like you sort of question whether they were, because it talks about the fallen angels that, God sent down to earth, right? And he, as punishment.
Well, Lucifer was a
Is this a prison planet? Is this what you're telling me? Is this place a prison where we all are?
That looks like a prison.
Right? It does, doesn't it? Yeah.
Hey, can we just chime in for a second here? So one thing that you can really understand when you talk about the equator, when you talk about the equator, you understand when you look at the model why we have an equator when it comes to that map and not to a globe.
That circle at the top's the equator, huh?
So what I realized when I looked at it, and this is some of the things that I started realizing, the equator makes sense because, and that's why, like in the north, you get in the summertime, you get plenty of sun, and you get nice warm weather. But in the wintertime in the north, they get heaps of snow, right? But in our southern hemisphere where we are, in summertime, we don't get heaps of snow. We get cold.
Yeah, we never get
but we
snow.
don't get snow. So if you look at the way the sun travels on that model, what happens is in the northern hemisphere summer, the sun travels in a small circle, right?
Yep.
In our summertime, the sun travels in a wider circle, right? But within the equator, whether the sun's at the very north or the very south of its path in terms of the circle, there's a mid zone that will always get an even amount of sun.
And that's
why the equator is always
like Queensland
warm.
kind of thing.
Yeah, that's why the
compared to
equator
Melbourne.
is always warm because whether the sun's in the northern solstice where it heats up the north,
that view if you can.
or whether it's in the south where it does a large circle. That's why when we get our summertime, our wintertime, we still get a lot more warmth from the sun, even though it's doing a small circle, rather than when it's doing the large circle. That's why
that's interesting.
That's why in the north they get shitloads of snow and sub-zero temperatures because the sun moves further away. Because I believe what happens is the sun doesn't also go circular. The sun follows the dome and goes down. So as it comes down in the winter solstice, gets closer to us. That's why we get sunburn in Australia.
We get bad sunburn here.
But when you go to Europe, you don't get sunburn because the sun is higher.
And what do they say? There's a hole in the ozone layer or something.
Yeah, it's all bullshit.
We could be closer. We could be closer to this sun.
Coming closer to us, we get a closer sun.
Can we put
they get a sun that's further away.
Can we put up a graphic of the sun? that's just where the light goes, is it?
So if you look at
is that
the
where the
yin
light
yang
goes?
symbol,
The yin yang.
that's the path of the sun and the moon
Yep.
lighting up the earth.
Interesting.
Yeah, in a
In
very
terms
raw.
in terms of like the sun's doing this part and the moon's
This actually
controlling the
demonstrates.
night.
This demonstrates it a lot better than a yin yang.
Yeah.
Because I wrote about
This is
that
cool.
in my book,
I've
the
never
yin
seen
yang.
this. Thank you for bringing that up.
This
cuz.
is fantastic because what it's showing, right? Go back, see that? That's what it's actually doing with what you just described, Fanos.
Go
As
do
it's
that.
coming down in seasonal,
Yeah.
you'll see what it's that's when we go equinox, right? But this is going. But what this is trying to describe as well is imagine being inside this dome, right, living there, and we all have our personal atmospheric dome, they call it, right? How far you can see your limit of your circle.
Like the fog
Right?
of war
Like
for
if-
us, for each person.
Yeah, like everyone has their own
Yeah.
little experience with the sun as well. It's very interesting when you go out.
Yeah.
And if you're at the beach, you could be looking at the sun setting and that straight line reflection is coming to you. But a person 1 kilometer up the road, they could swear it's coming to them. So where's the sun going? And this you wrapped it up before. You showed it before with this other thing. How did you do that, Kamal?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to wrap it up soon, guys.
This is what that's
We're on schedule.
Yeah,
An
cool.
hour and 10 in. So
Yeah, that's what that's
Beautiful.
demonstrating how we perceive it in this area. But everything that Fanos said about it makes so much more sense than a globe Earth that you're spinning and the sun's
Yeah, it
93 million miles away.
It just makes more sense. That's why the equator has even amount of heat, whether it's winter time in one place or summer in that place,
And light
whether it's
too.
whether the north, and it makes sense why the north gets snow in winter and it gets sub-zero temperatures, but it still gets warm weather in summertime and melts all the snow. We get winter, we don't get any snow. That makes no sense. If your sun's billions of miles away, how can they create such a discrepancy? And it's like, because of the curve. Well, that's bullshit.
That's bullshit, isn't it?
Because apparently we wobble as well. So if we're wobbling, wouldn't fucking Antarctica start getting heaps more heat and start melting? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it doesn't make any sense, but it makes a lot more sense. And the equator really makes sense whether it's doing a big circle or a small circle, there's always a part in the middle that's going to get an even amount of sun. And never, ever, whether it's winter or
Yeah, they're
summertime,
the tropics.
ever, where it's never going to have a massive discrepancy in heat.
Why New Zealand is it like I've been to New Zealand, I've got seen snow there. New Zealand's probably
Oh, we get snow here, like in the mount, the mount,
yeah.
you know.
But I guess the South Island
Buller and all
a bit
that.
lower. That's lower than Australia, isn't it?
But how can it be such a discrepancy? So Mount Buller gets snow, but in Adelaide it doesn't. Perth it doesn't. Have you seen the weather sometimes like 35 in Queensland, in Brisbane?
It's
And
also
in here
got to
it's
do
like
with
16.
increased altitude.
Right?
When you get higher, it's cooler
Yeah.
when you get higher.
Higher chance of snow,
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Lower,
So
less.
the lower you are,
less chance.
the warmer.
Weird that, isn't it, as well? Because they're trying to say that the closer you get to the sun, it's getting colder. What are you talking about? You should be getting warmer.
Warmer.
The closer you get to the
Have
sun.
you ever got an IR gun and
Right.
took infrared gun and shot at the sky?
Never, no.
It actually gives you the temperature of the dome.
You serious?
And it says minus 400 degrees.
Yeah, I don't know if I've got one. I'll try it. But I've done moon.
Shoot your IR,
I've done-
infrared gun at the sky,
it's crazy.
and it instantly goes to minus 390
Fair
degrees.
income. Yeah, interesting.
So it's hitting
Cold.
something.
I'm going to get one off
expanse.
Temu later tonight.
But it's hitting something, isn't it? It's getting the temperature.
It's
of
getting a
something.
reading of something.
So
Yeah.
it's not getting the
You're
temperature of
right.
air.
Okay. Yeah.
What's it getting the temperature of?
What's it doing here?
You know, try it. Get an infrared gun, a temperature gun, and just shoot it at the sky. It instantly goes to ridiculous minuses, like 350,
And it's colder.
400 degrees minus. Yeah.
crazy.
Something's
That's
going
crazy.
on up there, huh?
And it's colder during a full moon. So the full moon light is actually colder. You would think that if this is now shining all of the sun to be a full moon, should be warmer moonlight. But the moonlight is colder when you measure it. So moonlight is colder than moon shadow. If you go into the shadow, out of the moonlight, it's actually warmer. And it affects the fires. If you have a bush, like a fire outside on a full moon, you'll see it affects So there's a magnet.
That's
There's
crazy, I didn't know.
there's more to this Earth than we know.
This is the biggest
right?
conspiracy. This is the number one
Number
biggest
one.
conspiracy, bro. This
Number
is like
one.
this is the top conspiracy. That's why. Like,
do you agree? What do you reckon, Fano?
Yeah,
Is it the number
it's-
one? Hiding about where we live?
It's honestly the one that even separates those who say they're awake with each other, where you actually get laughed at for even bringing it up. It's like you say you're out of the matrix, but
are you?
unless you've actually investigated this,
Yeah,
I'm sorry, mate, you're still in the matrix.
yeah.
Because to me, I look at ancient scripture that's written thousands of years ago, and it's so interesting. It says it separated the waters from the waters. And then when I was looking it up, I go, hang on a second. There's friggin' water up there. That's why the sky's blue. And then you look up star in a jar and then look up solar luminescence. And it's like, man, you look at the stars, actual proper photos of the stars, not NASA bullshit. Man, they look like a light under the water. They look like a light flickering under the water.
Yeah, quite incredible.
It's like, the hairs are standing up on
I was showing my wife
when I
this the other
say this
day,
because this
actually.
is what set me off. It's like,
yeah,
man, everything that it says in Genesis is actually true. And then you really get a grasp of, man, you know, we are actually incredibly powerful and we are the only thing, mate. There's no aliens. There's none of that shit. It's just us. And we're the ultimate lie in terms of who we are. And then you start to grasp, fuck, man, how powerful are we meant to be and not know it?
And they don't want us to know it.
yeah. Where they told us we only
How-
can use
how
10%
fucking
of
dumbed
our
down are
brain,
they? It's all
right?
Malachias.
10% of our
Malachias.
brain. Really? You know, come on.
Seriously, how dumbed down are we?
Maybe the
In
people wearing
terms
the
of-
masks. But no.
Yeah.
But yeah, so so to anyone listening to this podcast, right, go and have a look at what a star really looks like, and then look up cymatics and see that every single star, and even your Jupiter, Uranus, all those
That's right.
planets,
They're all plasma balls.
Chuck that in.
they
Star in a jar.
all look like all
Plasma.
different shapes, and they you see if you really look at them closely, they look like they're
Morphing.
light underwater.
Yeah.
And you can see the water moving on top of them.
Have you seen those
light
videos where they're like
underwater.
faces
100%.
inside the stars? And it's funny because what the Bible says is the Bible says that God locked some of the angels that wouldn't do God, you know, the tasks that they were assigned. God would lock them into the stars, like forever. Like that's your prison in the stars. And now they take photos, and when they pause
Look
them,
up the
you
stars
see
are
a
singing.
face,
A face in
in
the
the
stars
friggin'
are singing.
stars.
That's what I.
And the stars are singing, and
Look
that's
up
why
the
they call
stars are singing.
that's why they
This
call
will
them
blow you away.
celebrities, and the celebrities and stars.
Here,
You-
this
Yeah,
guy shows the stars are singing. This guy.
Crazy shit.
Click on this, and he shows you that the stars are making sounds.
Yeah, crazy.
Do this and then we'll wrap it up.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So there's a lot more, as you were saying, there's a lot more to this world than we'll ever know. And I think they came up with these scientists to say, oh, we've solved everything. We've solved gravity. We've solved all these this stuff. But nothing on the heliocentric model
So,
makes sense. It's just
li-
like
ju-
when you're really
There's a lot of plot holes in it, man.
a lot, man. There's a
plot
lot.
holes.
Yeah.
So
And it's
this-
like,
and that's why I'm on the fence because there's the
good on you, man.
Yeah.
It's better. It's good to be there. I'm not hanging shit on
Every
you.
time,
for being-
every time I have a conversation with you guys, I get more and more
Good,
on your
good.
side.
Yeah, do it.
but it just
just
yeah,
just question everything.
it
Yeah.
blows you
Yeah,
away.
yeah.
Though.
I love to be open minded.
Good on you, man. That's good. That's an honest person right there. When you can be, put yourself in that position and just listen to both sides of the argument. And,
Well, I don't like Neil deGrasse Tyson. Like I can't stand that guy. I can't listen to him. He's just a shill, right?
It's funny because even the globe earthers
Nah.
hate him. Yeah. So every time,
No, he's a shill. He's
yeah.
not a real person. Like he's very fake.
fake.
Even when he was on Joe Rogan, bro, he was so rude to Joe. He just thinks he's so arrogant, man.
Yeah, I didn't watch that one, but I can't stand watching him. That's why.
That's the problem. That's the problem. Exactly right.
So,
Did you find a part?
yeah, this is the stars are singing. No, this thing is all about the stars. So just go to a part where he shows one of these. Yeah, go there. That's it. Now press play.
There's no video.
Oh, is
Press
it
the
just
audio.
an image?
See the face? Look at that face.
No,
Look at
press the audio.
it. Billy, look at the face.
Turn
on
the
that.
audio on. No, it's there. It's you got to
You
unmute
got
it.
it.
Oh,
Oh
yeah.
no, it's on.
There you
mute.
go.
Why can't we hear it?
I'm not sure.
Is it one of these guys here, Billy?
It could be one. It could be one
It's
of the.
one
Oh,
of-
Wait, go to sound. No, down there, that one. Yeah, click that.
Yeah.
Roadcaster, RCV.
No, you got ads on.
Video.
Anyway.
Oh, no.
Okay, so go and look up, to anyone listening to this, if I was going to just put my argument in just a finishing line, I would say that whenever you're trying to see whether the existence of something is actually credible, it's not what's there, it's what's not there, and it's not what information you can find, it's what they're trying to hide. If they're trying to hide something, then it has to have some type of credibility.
That's right.
Right? So, Billy, my question to you is, if it has no relevance in terms of this subject, why is there so much effort to hide it?
That's true. Even the podcast that I did with Kamal and Billy just a month or two ago, straight away, as soon as but even before I put it up, as soon as I uploaded it to YouTube, got flagged, and it's like, this is an archaic, flat Earth is this and that, and it's like it already got flagged, right? And
why hide it?
Right.
Why change verses in the Bible to take out the firmament if there's no if there is no relevance there? Why go and change?
That's true.
Why would you change?
Why are
the
they
flight
fighting
trackers?
it so much?
Why change the flight trackers to actually show now they fly low, when if you look at the old flight trackers, all the planes used to fly up and used to fly down.
Yeah.
Now, if you go to the flight tracker, you can actually start seeing these planes that are flying this way. It's like,
that's right.
All of these things, you say it's ridiculous and there's no credibility behind it. If there's no credibility behind it, why would there be such a large percentage of people now?
There's such a concerted effort
who
to
say something about it, who believe it, and within the same instance, why would you go through so much trouble to hide the truth if it's just rubbish? Wouldn't you just leave it on the top search on YouTube? Why would you bring up all the debunking?
And just,
who cares?
Who cares?
If it's
yeah.
So,
like,
but
what about the
of
Loch Ness monster? Do you do the same with that? No.
What about the
the Bigfoot?
Bigfoot, the Yeti?
No, they don't do that.
It's all right.
I was going to show
They
you
keep
some
that
footage
because it's
So this is
it makes us look more
Why
crazy.
do they hide? Why do they try and hide things?
That's
is
right.
my question. If there's no relevance.
Check this out. The moon was setting. I was at Chelsea Beach, and the moon was setting. That's the moon in the background. I'll sort of go back. You can see it. It's setting. But see that? That's indented head. The other side of the bay, these are the trees there. And the moon, because the moon happened to be there, it was silhouetting all the back of these trees. You should not be able to see 40 kilometers away. That was. And there was another one. I think, did I show you the one where? Anyway, we'll do it another time. It was like Chelsea to Ballarat. There's a wind farm in Ballarat that they just put up, and because the sun was silhouetting at there,
You could see it.
I could see the wind farm 100 kilometers away from there, which is
cool.
well over the
Curvature
Earth
level.
curvature, like. But refraction, that's what all the globe are, Oh, it's refraction again.
Refraction.
Come on, okay, sure. Refraction does not make water curved, right? That's where physical property of water is always going to be my biggest proof that I refer back to, because water is always level at rest, scientifically proven.
Right now.
Isn't it? Look what it does. Yeah, and it needs to be
That's why we
contained.
use it in construction, mate.
Yeah, exactly.
That's same here with the bricking.
Same,
you always use the
Use a
for
water
sure.
level.
Yeah,
use a
water
spirit
level.
level.
Yeah.
Right? They're
Yeah.
all using liquid.
Absolutely,
Because
yeah.
liquid behaves in one way.
Yeah,
It finds the level of every single object.
always seeks level.
Every
The
container it's
equilibrium.
in, it finds its level.
Yeah,
That's right.
Even the phrase spirit level,
Yeah.
your
You
level
know?
is your spirit is
Yeah.
level.
right.
Yeah.
That's cool.
That's a good observation.
So
like
as I said, if you really want to understand whether or not there's credibility to the whole argument, look at COVID, right?
Mhm.
Everything that was credible, they hit it.
They hit it hard.
So you
That was the biggest psyop ever.
look up
Since-
flat Earth. Now why do they hide things for? Why do they put it at the bottom of the list? Why does the algorithm stop you from finding it? Why is the first videos that come up debunking videos? Why wouldn't you give the person who's searching the best possible matches so you get the most views for your videos? Isn't that good business?
Isn't that logical. Yeah,
Why,
right.
why put them at the bottom of the list?
Yeah,
Why
doesn't
make it
go.
so hard to find videos, proper videos, and all the videos that come up now? Just type in flat Earth to Google.
Yeah.
Not Google, in YouTube.
YouTube, yeah.
This can be the final thing.
Yeah.
And can I just ask you a question?
See how many
Fan?
pages you need to go through before you
Straight
find
away,
one
straight
video.
away. The first thing.
Exactly.
Okay,
Straight away.
first thing that comes up is a warning from fact checkers. Hey, the Earth isn't flat. You went through really? Well, you shouldn't even need to write that there. Seriously.
And what do they
If-
mean
if
by
you've got a-
scientifically disproven? How'd you do it?
Now
Like,
go
you should-
through the pages. Look at this. Every single one of them
Ah,
is a debunking video.
Yeah.
Go down. Every single one of them is
Well-
is a debunking video.
Although that lady's turning, that lady that was up here, this one, she was really against it. But now Sabine is questioning science because she saw what happened within the
Just scroll
university
down.
and how corrupt it all was. Hey, Fanos, can I ask you a question? Because I think I met you in 2020, like at an event in the city.
Look at all the titles.
And I
As you- as you
I
keep-
brought up
keep
flat Earth,
speaking.
and I brought up flat Earth to you, and straight away you went the firmament. Yep, 100%. I went, oh, cool man, this guy knows. This guy knows.
Yeah.
So how long have you been? When did you first hear about flat Earth?
Probably about 8 years ago.
Yeah,
7
cool.
years ago.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I've been 2014 for me, so it's about 10 years.
Yeah.
And, you know.
Look at
So I
me
wanted to
videos
ask
he's
you. I
going
just wanted
through.
to know whether you, how long you've sort of been onto this
Yeah.
topic. Yeah.
That's a long time, you boys. You 10 years, a decade, you
Yeah,
8
yeah.
years. You know,
Crazy. And I haven't since
Kamal,
then.
probably 5 years.
There is no evidence that I've seen that convinces me that the Earth is a ball. And if it was, I'd change my mind, mate. Yeah? I'm telling you, I'd go and I'd write a new book and I'd say, I found the curve, it's not elusive anymore. Right?
Look how
You
many
know?
debunking videos there are. Look how many debunking videos there are.
Yeah.
Debunked.
Neil
debunked,
deGrasse
I know.
Tyson.
I know.
That
Yeah.
looks all
I
right.
know.
The Firmament, the short film.
Yeah, no, I watched the other day. It's bullshit.
Oh,
yeah,
is
it's
it? Oh.
propaganda. Yeah, it's got they changed the firmament because you got
So-
the ball.
so
you got a
would-
ball there.
would you call
How
this-
can you have a ball with a firmament?
Controlled opposition.
Yeah, 100%, man, 100%. Definitely. What about the Flat Earth Society? Don't go there. That's controlled opposition. That's what they do.
So what do you reckon? They're
flat
shifty?
Earth, they're shifty. Yeah, they say the Earth is like we're on a disc and it's flying upwards through the universe at 9 to account for the 9.82 meters per second, gravitational fall. Like, it's just bullshit. Like, they're always going to have a controlled,
They're probably paid off.
they're going to have that shit, yeah. And, whatever. Do
Alright,
they put
guys.
out a bit
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to
Oh,
say
it's been fun.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you
I think
guys.
we should do a
Thanks for
wrap up.
coming
Thank
up.
you, Fanos,
And we're at 1 hour 30 now, so it's
Yep.
perfect. It's a perfect time.
Perfect.
I
Yeah.
appreciate you guys coming in and convincing me. It's there's a lot of good points you've brought up that I'm gonna look into.
Good on you, man.
And thank you everybody for watching as well. And I hope
Cheers,
you
guys. Thanks for
had a good had a good view. And beautiful.
Round of applause for Billy, mate. Good
Yeah,
job
good
in the
setup,
studio.
Billy. Like, really
job,
good
man.
freaking setup. Love it.
Hopefully the camera switching and everything is good. And,
All worked and
everybody
that, yeah,
loves
no.
it. So first one I've done, so it'll only get better from here.
Good job, man. Good job.
All right, guys.
Let's
Thank
do it
you.
again. Good on
Have
you.
a good one.
Thanks,
Cheers.
everyone. See you. Bye.
Bye.